versus Julie I mess it up every time.
I had that 5 times.
All right.
The Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Miss Julie Valpachon.
That's right.
All right, please take your.
Attorney Morgan Barroso on behalf of the people.
Please take your for the record.
Julie Bonpachon.
Thank you, Judge. I have spoken to Ms. Barroso and to Ms. Valpachon about this matter. We are close to a resolution. The people have made a reasonable offer.
Go ahead.
Have made a reasonable offer. The issue, if there's an MDOP, it's going to be requiring something to be paid off that may have already been paid off. So I need to get a receipt from Ms. Valpachon before we're prepared to resolve it.
For now.
Before we're prepared to resolve it. So I'm asking for a short, either 1, 2, or 3 week adjournment, whatever fits the court schedule best, to get that receipt and turn it over to Ms. Barroso to see if that will help to resolve the matter.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, but there a reason why she hasn't been going to community corrections?
I was sick. I was in the hospital.
She missed, she had a court date scheduled for February 14th. That was also,
No, I understand that, but she had missed to January 10th, she tested negative. January 19th, she missed. January 22nd, she missed. January 24th, she comes in, test positive for THC. And then she misses February 7th. And then misses February 9th. And according to this, was in the hospital on the 13th through the 15th.
so I understand what the court
Mr.
said.
Allen.
She missed several tests. It sounds like in late January into February. She,
And the only test that she then took for that period was positive.
so I know she was in the hospital, which is why the February 14th court date was adjourned.
Right, I have that one,
Right.
but she hasn't been testing.
Okay. She did indicate that she went to go test today. They did not drop her. They told her to wait till after court.
Yeah, because she hasn't been testing.
Fair.
And
I just found I had pneumonia. And I was sick, like I just haven't been. Whatever.
did you read this violation report?
I did not, Judge.
Because I don't know what's going on with this individual, but the very first conversation, there's a call made to the phone. And it looks like some games are being played with community corrections.
Okay.
And she tests positive for marijuana, but then indicates she doesn't have a MMC. She doesn't have a medical marijuana card. And that she was at a party and had 2 marijuana laced cookies. So on, and they keep telephoning her, said she was unable to take the test on 119, having to pick up her kids. Then she reminded that they were open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. instructed to report to community correction on January 24th. She did, and that's when she tested positive. She hasn't given any on the February 15th, although the court has them. She didn't give any medical documentation to the 2 community corrections.
You didn't give it to the court. You must have given it to Ms. Gaines. Okay. Yes, my understanding is she was working with Ms. Gaines. I guess that must be how the court ultimately received.
Pardon?
You said that the court had not received the hospitalization.
I have it. I have the hospital. That's fine with me. it's the stuff before this
Okay.
that is very concerning, because she does her first test, she's negative. Then she just doesn't seem to do testing, as though she's not taking what the court says very serious.
I'll continue to go test.
And then she's talking about, then there's this whole issue with the phone back at the beginning of January about the appointment.
Obviously, I did not.
And then she's talking about having to pick up her kids. And that's fine, except they reminded her that that they're open from 8 to 4.
Did I go to testing after that for, like, she told me I could go the next day. And I believe I went that day,
What day?
the day after that I was supposed to pick my kids up.
On the 24th, right? That's the only test you've done.
Okay.
Do you have it in front of you? You
I
want to see
don't.
my
May I,
copy?
Judge? I
Here.
don't have it in my.
I don't, but
Thank you.
no, I have not. been tested. That, like,
To know. He wants to- Yes, and that's on 110. When she reported to community corrections, required the intake. Da-da-da. Yes, with the marijuana laced cookies, it appears, Your Honor. Yeah, approach.
Yeah. So she had the marijuana cookies on which day?
It looks like in the report, she said on 110.
That was after she was arrested,
I guess so, Judge.
but she just told me it was before she was arrested. So which one is it?
before. I don't remember, but-
She doesn't recall, Judge.
What?
She doesn't know the date. Obviously, Judge, I don't know when she was arrested. She believes it was
So
right.
tell me about the phone. Cause see, I have a feeling you're playing games with.
I don't know anything about no phone. I don't remember. I don't know nothing about no phone.
The judge says that the report we're not returning, we're not making phone calls, it's not the right phone number for you to reach you to do the testing.
Well, no, that beginning part of the report
Yes, sir.
where they tried to call and they said they were trying to return it to the owner and they said it was actually her on the phone.
You understand what Judge
Oh,
said?
yeah, when I lost my phone and,
That's what he's asking you about.
yeah. I had lost my phone and I was getting it back from the person.
That's what he's asking you
And
about.
they
He's-
said that person said somebody called me or something like that, and
So judge is asking you about the phone. When did you lose your phone? How did you get your phone back? He wants an explanation for when.
I don't know, I don't remember the exact dates, but whatever it is, I accept full responsibility,
No,
whatever.
Oh, I don't know you want to do that, because
I don't-
that'll make
I
my
don't
job a
remember
whole lot easier.
when I lost it.
Well, how'd you get it back? That's what he wants to know. He
I
wants-
called my phone and I met up with the girl to give my phone back
Okay, where?
at the gas station.
Okay, how'd she get it?
I left it there.
At the gas station? What gas? He wants them details.
The Citgo gas station right here outside of Hog, or right here outside of Hogback, whatever it's called right here.
Okay. So my understanding from what she's telling me, Judge, is that she left her phone at the gas station, the Citgo.
This was before the delayed marijuana cookies.
That's my. is
Oh,
that
okay.
correct?
This is after the cookies. I ate the cookies before I was arrested, a couple days before that. I got arrested on the 31st.
Ma'am. You have laced cookies. Take a test, it shows up negative. Then 14 days later, we probably would have known before then. But 14 days later, then you take a test and that's when it shows up in your system.
Judge is saying that it should have showed up immediately. That's what he's suggesting.
Okay,
So he wants to know how is that possible?
I don't know.
Was there another slip? Is what he
No.
wants to know.
No,
Were you around someone who could have been?
Okay, look, here's the thing. Mr. Feaster, I realize you may be at a slight disadvantage because you don't have the report in front of you.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm gonna give you my copy of the report. She can sit right in that last seat over there in the jury box. And I will call it back up when she has her story straight.
Thank you, Judge.
But if she's up here and she's lying to me, ma'am, I don't play that way.
Right.
So if you come up here lying to me and don't tell me the whole truth, because I can see exactly what's going on here. I'm not stupid. But if you come up here lying to me, you're gonna go. It's really simple.
Have a seat right there. You said.
Have a seat right, that last seat up there.
May I borrow that again, Judge?
People versus Julie Vampachon, I think.
Ready again, Judge Torshell Feaster, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Ms. Julie Von Pachan. And tomorrow at the podium. Please state your name again for the record.
Julie Vampachan.
Thank you, Jeff, for giving us the opportunity to pass this matter so I could get a copy of the report and review it. I did talk to Ms. Barroso about this report. Our office did not receive a copy of it, so I did not have it. We didn't have it, so I apologize for that, Judge.
No, it's okay.
In going through the report with Ms. Wapachan, I do have some corrections, clarifications to the information I was providing previously, Judge. She
Oh,
does,
so now she's gonna tell the truth.
yes, Judge. Yes, Judge.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. She did lose her phone at the Sunoco gas station at 3891 Platte. About 17, just
Is the Sunoco,
the Sunoco,
not the Sitco?
Sunoco, right?
Whatever one's right outside of here.
Sunoco, I believe, is what she believes it was, Judge. She says that that phone was recovered prior to her first meeting with Community Corrections when she got her phone back on 1/9 of 2024. She went to Sunoco, she paid $100 to a Black female who had her iPhone 10. That phone did subsequently break. She took it and had it repaired or replaced at the iPhone store at Briarwood. She said when she did report on the 10th, per the report, Judge, she indicated to Community Corrections that she did have a marijuana cookie, 2 marijuana cookies. And so she indicated that she didn't know she was going to be positive. And that's when she said, what do I do when my test comes back positive? However, that apparently did not metabolize in her system at the point of that test, but she thought that first test would have been positive, Judge.
Okay, so the cookies now appeared on the 10th.
Yes, Judge, it happened the day before her reporting, Judge. So I guess that would have been the 9th, reported on the 10th.
Go ahead.
Okay. She indicated since that time, she has in fact been using marijuana, and that is why she has failed to make her testing dates, Judge. She indicates that she knew she was going to be positive on the 10th from the cookie, and she knew that subsequently she'd be positive from actual smoking of marijuana. So she missed those tests until she actually went in on 1/24 and tested and did have that positive result. She indicated that her last time smoking would have been 2 days ago on Tuesday, the 27th, Judge. She indicates that she does not have an addiction and that she can stop smoking, but that she had not stopped at this point, and that she takes responsibility. She apologizes. She sees how serious this is. And she wants
Hold on a moment. I need to go back to the 9th.
Okay.
He had the cookie when?
It would have been the day, either the 8th or the 9th. The party would have been, she believes it was the Friday, January the 9th, I believe that date was, she indicated, at her friend's party. Obviously,
When did she get out of jail?
she got out on or about 12:30. Because Community Correction received this order for her testing on December 30th.
On December 3rd?
Yes, Judge.
December 30th.
It says new order received on 12/30/2023.
Right.
So that's when she would have been released, I assume, Judge.
And she doesn't report until the 9th or the
She-
10th.
Correct, Judge.
Why is she late reporting?
Well, she didn't call initially, Judge.
Why?
She apparently didn't want to, Judge. Then she lost her phone on or about January 7th. Just trying to be honest with you, Judge, that's what happened. Okay, on the 7th, she lost her phone. She recovered it on the 9th. She had that cookie. And then she reported on the 10th, Judge. Since that time, like I indicated, she has been smoking marijuana due to the stress of the situation. She's not denying that. And that's why she has failed to make subsequent reports aside from that January.
So she just decided that she just was gonna do it her way.
She did, Judge. She did. And she's not denying that, Judge.
Not now.
But obviously, I've impressed upon her.
So why did she go over the data test?
My understanding, she spoke to Ms. Gaines, and Ms. Gaines told her she had some prior failures to report, and that she knew she had to go report. So she went today, so she's tried to actually comply. And I told her now how serious this is. I don't know if that was impressed
So
upon.
she just started taking marijuana without a card in violation of the order on the 8th, 9th of January.
That's the cookie, right. Subsequent to that, she started smoking.
So before that, what?
Before that, she indicated she didn't use often. Not never, but not often. But now she's been using pretty much 3 days a week. That's that time.
And she knows she's not supposed to be.
She does, Judge. You understand? Something that she's not denying now. She was scared. And obviously she has 2 small children. She has a full-time job. She didn't want to lose her job, didn't want to have difficulty with her children. Understands now, she just can't do it. She doesn't have a medical marijuana card. She has no excuse. And she knows that, Your Honor's not playing about marijuana, not playing about following court orders. And she indicates that she is given the
Well,
opportunity.
it's the court, and I'll tell you, it's the court gave her an order.
Yes, Judge.
And she decides that she just wants to not follow the court's order.
Yes, Judge.
Then she gets here, gets called on it when she was up here initially, and then it's just through you, just lying to me.
Yes, Judge.
I apologize, Your Honor.
You don't lie to the court, ma'am. You just don't. I'll deal with the truth. We can work that out. But if you're gonna sit here and lie to me, then that's gonna be a problem and you're gonna pay a consequence for that.
That's what I told her in the box, Judge. When I sat down with her, I told her that she has to be straight with you. The truth, you generally work with people. Okay, that she apologized and she's sorry that she wanted me to tell you what was going on, how she got to this point. She said she's had difficulty dealing with the stress of the situation. She's looking forward to getting this resolved. The prosecutor did make her a very reasonable offer. We're just trying to get proof of that payment for the destruction of the broken window, to try to get these pled out. But obviously she needs some help. She's not afraid to go to treatment if the court thinks she needs treatment, but she believes she can quit. And in 30 days from Tuesday's date, this should be all out of her system completely, because Tuesday was the last time she would have used, Your Honor. But she did, the 27th.
She just kept doing it.
Yes, Judge.
That's the problem. And the problem is, had she left here today, she would just continue doing it and continue violating this court's order.
Yes, Judge.
And quite frankly, her promise doesn't mean anything to me.
Understood.
It just doesn't. Had she taken the test, say, this is why I'm doing it, failed the test, that's one thing. but she just decides that she doesn't have to take the test. Takes the test, then decides she doesn't have to want to take the test, just continues using.
Yes, Judge.
So violating the court's order in two ways, first by her use and then also by not going to testing. And then all on top of that comes here and lies to me. Anything else you want to say?
To her credit, she did eventually come forth and tell Your Honor the truth. She's came clean with me about what's going on and how we got in this situation. She acknowledges that she might have a problem because managing her stress, she's been unable to not use marijuana. And so she acknowledges that and is willing and ready to seek treatment, Your Honor.
Your screen is locked on your phone. How is somebody else using your phone?
My screen. They can answer calls still.
Can they call out? No, and they did. So I don't believe the phone thing either, even now, as you're saying. Adjourned to March 7th, this week, 2024 at 9 a.m. And lady, you're gonna have to figure out how you want to do this. You're here on a DV charge or DV type charge. You got resisting and obstructing. You're not following the court's rules. Has her 9mm handgun been surrendered?
Yes.
Yes, Judge. And she indicates that the window has been paid for, that was broken in the incident.
You gotta follow the rules. And the most important thing is you don't lie to me.
Understood, Judge.
Defendant's bond is revoked pending a hearing on March 7th. Defendant's remanded.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, not yet. See you there? Julie Vancapon.
Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Morgan Barroso, on behalf of the people.
Alex Warren Green on behalf of Ms. Chan. Please state your name.
Julie Bampachan.
Your Honor, this time we're asking the court to set the matter for a preliminary examination. If I may address bond.
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Chan was last before the court a week ago. That time she was remanded for bond violations. I believe she had 2 missed tests and a positive test.
Oh, that and lying.
Of course, Your Honor,
Okay.
and that's
Okay, go ahead.
Ms. Chan does wish to apologize to the court today for being dishonest at that time. She's assured me that she will continue testing, that she knows what she needs to do, that if her phone wasn't working or anything else like that, that's really not an excuse to miss testing. She's fully employed at the University of Michigan Hospital. Sorry, Your Honor. And cares for her 2 children. Right now, her 2 children are living with her sister, so we're just asking the court to consider reducing her bond. Right now, she's held without bond or a personal bond.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If her children are living with her sister, then I'm really concerned because I do have note that she called the victim 41 times. And my understanding was the only reason to
Excuse
contact
me?
the victim was to have contact with the children. So if the children are not with the victim, then I am concerned.
Okay, hold on. So the Daniel Gray, I have listed as the victim.
Correct.
Found the street.
there is contact allowing for conversations about the children. That was my understanding of the bond conditions. So if the children are with her sister, I see no reason for her to have contact with the victim.
Well, the conditions that I have is that the only communication that would have been allowed with the victim regarding the children would have been by text.
There have been 41 phone calls.
Your Honor, that's the first I've heard of her making any phone calls from the jail. My understanding is that the children are living with Ms. Fong-Fichan's sister and that they do spend time with their dad, who's the complaining witness in this case as well. And prior to her incarceration, it sounds like she did have contact with her dad for purposes of raising the
With
children.
who?
With
Mr.
the
Grant.
children's dad, the complaining witness in this matter.
Right.
Yeah.
That's 41 calls this week.
41 calls since she's been taken into custody. That's
Oh, dear God.
Some conversations, we never argued or anything, it was just straight about the kids.
Counsel,
Well, Your Honor, that's the first I've heard of it. I don't think
do
Ms.
you
Fong.
want to talk to her about it? Because, I mean, here's the problem. Problem is her bond conditions are that she could only communicate with that individual by text. I realize being in custody, that may not be able to happen. But then the only communication that can occur via text is it has to be regarding the children. Got 41 calls to this person. I have 41 calls to this person and then find out that the person that would be caring for the children is not this person, is not the victim. That's a problem. Just on the face of it, it's a problem.
I understand that, Your Honor, and I know Ms. Fong-Fichan's primary.
I hate to do
concern
this
is
to the
her
sheriff's
children.
department. Why don't, because theoretically, she may have been released. But this throws a whole new light on everything because she hasn't been doing any, I mean, she's just making her own rules, which is really part of the problem with how she got herself in. Outside of lying to me. And now, and not following her bond conditions, and then now I got another one, potential. So let me do this. The sheriff's office would be so kind. Take her back. You might want to talk to her because otherwise. Let me see. 41 case people versus Dr. Sean.
Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Morgan Barroso at Apple Legal.
And Alex Warren Green on behalf of Ms. Fong-Fichan. State your name again.
Julie Bompachan.
Thank you. Your Honor, I had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Fong-Fichan. I addressed the phone calls with her. And, Ms. Fong-Fichan doesn't deny calling the complaining witness in this matter. I don't know the subject matter of those calls, but what Ms. Fong-Fichan tells me is that that subject matter, when those calls are reviewed, is going to come back largely regarding the children, and that the discussions they were having were about the children. The children are staying with her sister while the complaining witness is working. That is filling the void left by Ms. Fong-Fichan being in custody. Before Ms. Fong-Fichan was in custody, the children would stay with her while the complaining witness worked, and when he wasn't working, would stay with him. So that arrangement is the same. It's just that Ms. Fong-Fichan's sister is taking care of the children while the complaining witness is at work. So Again, I don't know the subject matter of those calls. What Ms. Fong.
Okay, so- And you don't know from the people, you don't know the subject matter of the call.
Your Honor, when I saw 41 calls, I was under the impression that they would be related to the children, but that doesn't eliminate my concern.
I know.
And I'm also concerned at her representation that is largely related to the children, which to me leaves room for an understanding that there's other things being discussed as well.
And Your Honor, what Ms. Fong tells me is that none of their communications regard the case. None of them
Okay.
are communications regarding what the complaining witness should do or can do or may do. It's nothing to do with that. It is,
Okay, I get that. But all that does is stop additional charges. Right?
of course.
Or that goes to whether or not there would be additional charges coming from the prosecutor's office. They don't go to what is another violation of the court's order. I mean, just the call itself. I mean, I could even understand if there were a few calls regarding the kids because she can't text because of the position that I can get that. 41?
It's a large number of calls, Your Honor. I understand the.
And here's my other problem, and this is the problem that people have when they come before me and they lie. You lie to me, then it's hard for me to believe anything that you're saying. And so if you're saying you're calling regarding the children, are there calls to her sister at least?
I have not checked. We don't have the sister's phone number because
Got
it's
it.
not in the police report.
Counsel, how soon can you get the phone calls to?
I'll send an email request right now.
Pardon?
I will send the email request right now. Usually they get released within a day.
Well, during the probable cause out 1 week. Or is that what we were doing on this? Yeah. Oh. Dear God. I'll adjourn our probable cause out 1 week to the 14th. 9 AM. Get the calls over. At this point, I'm not gonna set it for exam. At this point, what I'm gonna do is then. Let's do it this way. You wanted it set for exam, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. I'm gonna give you a probable cause date on the 14th to try to address her bond to see if we can get her out of custody without some other thing happening. I'll set her preliminary examination. I'll set that for the 26th. 2024, 9 AM. That will be before me. Next week, though, we'll address her bond after you've had a chance to listen to the calls. And right now, she has no way to communicate about her kids at all because she was doing it by text before.
That's right, Your Honor.
And at least pending the hearing next week, her phone privileges, defendant's phone privileges in their entirety are revoked. Just keep making it worse. Continue. Thank you. Calls the case of the people versus Julie Bontempo.
Feaster, Assistant Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Ms. Vampachan. Ms. Vampachan, please state your name for the record.
Julie Vampachan.
Thank you, Judge. I believe we are here. I think the court set this matter for a bond review prior to her preliminary examination that is apparently in about a week and a half.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I was not here at the last one, but my understanding is that the issue raised at that time was surrounding phone calls to the complaining witness in the MDOP case.
Well, so that you're up to date, the original remand was because of missed drug testing and really lying to the court about things. We're going to get to the next hearing. And I set it a week out in hopes that maybe there could be some understanding, but then she goes into custody and then begins to violate another court order by not just a few calls like the last hearing we just had, but 41 calls in that week's, which I didn't even understand that.
Yes, Judge. And so my colleague who had the case at that time has had a lot of chance to review all of those 41 phone calls. And he had a chance to meet with Ms. Vampachan and discuss the nature of that with Ms. Vampachan. My understanding is the complaining witness on that case is also present here in the courtroom today. And so there's a lot of things, I guess, to address, Judge. The first one being that I think she was allowed to have contact with the complaining witness if it were about the minor children, but by text message, not by phone call. Obviously, these calls, she's not denying she made them. She's not denying that they had conversations. My understanding from my colleague who listened to the phone calls is that the bulk of them conversation was about the minor children. And I spoke to the complainant witness in the hallway. He indicates there's a correction I need to make on the record. There was some confusion about who actually had custody or possession of the minor children, and that her sister might have had the minor children. He says that he has the minor children. He says that her sister only has the minor children when he goes to work. So for the bulk of the day and night, he has the minor children. And so he says that their conversations centered around those minor children. And so I guess I need to make that clear for the record as well, because I
41.
I mean, like I said, the bulk of them were about the minor children. Some of them was just conversation that ranged outside of the children that she should not have done, Judge. But she sat in jail for the last 2 weeks. She'll tell you, if you give her a chance later on, she'll tell you what she learned during this time period. Since last week, you revoked her phone privileges. She has had no phone calls clearly through her account because you revoked her privileges, and there are no phone calls through any other account. She did not try to go around the court's order. She heard what the court said. She has had no contact with the complaining witness. She understands where she messed up, and she's hoping the court will reconsider her bond situation, Your Honor. And the complaining witness in the MDOP case is here, and he is asking, I believe he's reached out to the victim advocate, and he is asking the court to drop the no contact order on the MDOP file. The other file is a ARNO with police officers, and so she will have no contact with them regardless, Your Honor. But she is asking you to please consider reinstating her personal bond. As the court already knows, she has 2 minor children. She was the primary person who watched those children while her significant other worked and supported the family. She also had her own job where she worked as a stockkeeper for the University of Michigan. She's been in that role for over 15 years. If the court might remember, she missed about 3 weeks of work due to being hospitalized with pneumonia. Now she's missed another 2 weeks of work due to her lying to the court. And so she's trying to get back to work, keep that job that she's had for over 15 years. She's trying to get back to her children, trying to get back to her family. And I think she can tell you honestly, she sees where lying gets her. And it's not going to happen if the court gives her an opportunity. And I think she understands when the court issues an order, it's not a suggestion. and she will follow your orders from here on out, or she'll spend the next however long in jail, and she never wants to be back in jail. This has not been a good experience for her, Judge. But she admits to the violations of both the phone and.
What did you want to tell me, young lady?
I wanted to say that I'm sorry for violating bond conditions and lying. And the 41 phone calls were about my kids, finances, things that I didn't get to take care of before being in jail. Work, daily life and jail conditions. I never threatened or intimidated or told anything for me. I never talked about the case. And I'm a mother. I miss my kids, even if I didn't talk to them on every call. Even just hearing their voices in the background made me get through my day. I made a mistake and I'm sorry. And if I do get out or when I get out, I'll store community corrections phone number in my phone. When I wake up every day for my kids to go to school, I'll make sure I call first thing in the morning. I'll quit smoking weed. I'm sorry. And I've been at my job for 15 years. I missed a lot of work. I'm about fired. I can possibly get my job back. But if I'm in here any longer, I'm gonna lose everything, my 401k, my health benefits. I need to get back to my kids. I miss them, they miss me. They don't even know I'm in jail. I told them I was on vacation because I don't want them to know.
Why'd you do this? I don't.
Sorry.
But why? I mean, when you came here the first time, not the very first time, but when we got the bond violation report, why didn't you just be straight up about it?
I was scared to tell you that I was smoking. I was stressed out, like due to this case, I've never been in trouble. I've never been in jail.
You know, what was really problematic about it is you started to lie and you were really talking through your attorney, but I don't think you even realized what you were saying didn't make any sense. And it didn't make any sense with what was in the violation report. I mean, that's how I could tell that you were lying. And then even on that, you just kept it going. And I don't know where you thought you were going to end up in the end. If you thought you were going to be successful in it, you weren't.
Understand. Now I know, and I learned. Sitting here thinking for 2 weeks, I learned
For what?
for lying.
Tell them what you've been doing in jail.
I've attended church. I've been cleaning inmate cells when they're leaving. I started a women's group, and I've just been trying to keep busy.
And you know, then when you came back that next week, last week, because of the way that the contact provision reads, one of the things I said to myself was, had there been 2-3 calls a day, frankly, ma'am, I would have excused that. And the reason I would have excused that is because you were permitted to text regarding your kids. But you can't do that from the jail. So I would have said, okay, I get it. She's just trying to keep that connect. And I probably would have just let that slide. But you can imagine that all of a sudden, when the prosecutor tells, there's 41 calls. How old are your kids?
5 and 6.
Obviously, in some way, ma'am, you could keep yourself together, haven't been in trouble, haven't done anything. I don't know why you decided to do this. I hope more than anything that the one thing that you figured out is, first of all, trying to lie to the court is not the way to go. I can deal, people come here every day. I can deal with people that do sort of messed up things and don't make the right call if they're straight up with me. The worst thing is, and I'm sure, and I would hope that this is what you're teaching your kids, you don't lie, and then when they're caught, they just double down on the lie. That never gets anybody anywhere. Do you still have your job?
I don't know. They told me that I wasn't allowed to miss any more days after I came back from being sick.
As to the violations that she admits to, is there anything, Mr. Pucci, you want to say before I sentence her on the violations?
It's been a long day, Judge. Just to briefly reiterate, she's got her kids, she's had her job, she's sorry. She's a proud woman, and she didn't want to admit she was scared, and she lied, and lied at the one place you can't lie. She understands that now, and I think it will never happen again, Judge.
I hope you still have your job. Defendant having admitted to the violations, I'll sentence the defendant to 14 days, Washington County Jail credit, 14 served. Her previous bond is reinstated at $10,000 personal recognizance bond. All of the conditions that were originally set remain in place. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
You need to get back on your testing. Just everybody has stress, right? Just find another way to deal with it. Make your tests, just do your test and sort of walk yourself through this case and get it done.
Yes.
All right.
Corrections. Yeah. Get out to, if you get out today, they probably be closed, but if not, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you. Everything. Michigan versus Julie Bombashell.
Alex Warren, on behalf of Ms. Wong.
Julie Bumpachan.
Your Honor, I appreciate the court's accommodation. I had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Fong Fachan. I discussed bond violations that have come to the court's attention since Ms. Fong Fachan's last appearance before the court. Ms. Fong Fachan,
Now, that as well as the continued lying.
of course, Your Honor, and Ms. Fong Fachan is going to apologize to the court. She's going to admit that what the court has been made aware of, her participation on a video podcast.
Okay,
Pick
let's
her-
just get it all right, Mr. Warren. Here's the stupidity of this individual. I lock her in jail because she was lying to me and violating her conditions. One of her first calls from the jail is to a podcast. Am I right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
But then gets here and runs a ruse that she's really making the calls regarding her two children. Then, so not only does that then go on social media, there's then another one on social media of shortly after when she was arraigned, where she was violating her bond condition at that time. I've yet to figure out why she doesn't have a medical marijuana card if that's what she wants to do. But she doesn't, and then just continues to use. Lied to community corrections, then lied to me. So she gets put in, then makes within that week at least 41 calls that we could see, but there were actually additional ones. Then can't wait a day after being released. Violates my order again.
And Your Honor, that is my understanding of where we are today in its entirety. And Ms. Fong Fachan admits to all of those things. She did go into custody. She placed upwards of 120 to 130 phone calls, one of which was to a podcast. And I think that demonstrates to the court that her statements that she learned her lesson in custody, it may hinder that because Ms. Fong Fachan was laughing, joking on a podcast.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
when
she was. She thought it was all a game.
Of course,
And
That-
guess what? You can think it's a game. It's a game with me that you will never win,
Understand.
ever. No, I don't think you do.
Can't speak.
no. Your Honor, that was the first week she was in custody. The following week, she lost phone privileges. She was released from custody, at which point she came before the court, apologized for what happened leading up to
And-
that.
Lied to Mr. Feaster, so Mr. Feaster would lie to the court.
Your Honor, I think Ms. Fong Fachan understands that pretrial release is a matter of grace, and that for her to remain on pretrial release, she has to demonstrate to the court that she is going to comply with her bond conditions. She has had a turbulent journey on her bond so far. She's had several violations. There are renewed violations. She admits to all of those. She would ask the court to
Including that the THC cookies, the time release THC cookies was a lie.
Ms. Fong Fachan understands that that story is not feasible, that when you
Really?
inspect the claim that was made at her first probable cause conference, that it doesn't make any sense. And she'll admit that today to the court, that a number of things she said leading up to this have not made sense and have turned out to be false. And when a person, anyone puts himself in that position, you have to tell lies and lies and lies to kind of undo what you've done so far. I think Ms. Fong Fachan wants to ask the court for a clean start, to come clean as to.
I thought we did that the last time. This is almost the same spiel I was getting last time, right before she got out and on film dragged.
Right.
God only knows why you'd be mixing anything with Red Bull, but what the heck?
Understood, Your Honor. And she did drink. There's a video of her doing it. She doesn't
Oh, yeah,
deny.
there is.
And what she's going to ask the court to consider is continuing her bond, upwards modification, that she be placed on a other to monitor alcohol use, that she submit to ETG testing to monitor her alcohol use, and that she cease using social media while this case is pending. Ms. Fong Fachan is serious about resolving this matter. She's serious about taking care of her two children. Daughters Maddie and Ayana have upcoming birthdays on the 28th of March and on the 2nd of April. I know
So
she
it'd be
wants to there
horrible
for them.
if she's in jail on their birthday.
It would, Your Honor.
But it doesn't seem to me that she was really caring about them all this time anyway.
No,
Because she would have never put herself in the jeopardy that she's in right now.
of course, Your Honor. I know her children are her primary concern more than anything else, that she's asking the court in a final act of grace to permit her to remain out of custody, continue her bond with those modifications, comply. And Ms. Fong Fachan can address the court and come clean about any violations of bond leading up to today.
Go ahead, what does she want to tell me? Mr. Allen.
I just wanted to apologize for starting off with a bad start with you. I hope that start over. I did my time for bond violation for 2 weeks. I messed up the first week the second week you revoked my phone privileges. I learned my lesson. I had some time to think about what I've done. And when I figured it out, I did have that cup of alcohol on the podcast. I truly thought that it was just no smoking weed, but I didn't know alcohol was a problem. But now I know. I do not have an alcohol problem. I was just drinking.
How am I supposed to know that?
You don't.
That
You don't.
that now you've learned your lesson.
I know.
Tell me how I should know that.
I know that anything that I say, you probably won't believe because we started off badly.
Oh, and you lied.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not just little lies, big lies. Every step you've gone, you've been lying. So tell me why I should believe you now.
I don't have a reason or any excuse to argue with that. I understand.
Your Honor, I think Ms. Fong Fachan knows it's not about what she says, it's about what she does. And what she's done leading up to this has not instilled confidence in the court that she's going to comply. We're asking the court to give her an opportunity to demonstrate that she's going to comply with the court's orders and perhaps present herself as a candidate for at the conclusion of this case.
I know you're upset at me.
Oh, I'm not upset because I definitely get to go home today. So I'm not really upset. Go ahead. What did you want to say? You just think this is all a game. That's what your problem is. You do. You think this is all a game.
I can say definitely, I didn't take it seriously the first week. The second week after I stayed in, I had a lot of time to think.
About what?
About, my actions before, during, and now, after the fact, even having a drink. And I guess if you want to put me back in jail, I deserve it.
Yeah, you do. You have a CPL?
Yes.
Lost it. You know why?
Not really.
Smoking and have a CPL. That's probably another form you lied on. How bad do you want to make this get, young lady?
Can you say that again?
How bad do you want to make this get? Because if you want to take this thing and make it the worst experience you ever had in your life, I'll be more than happy to indulge you.
I don't.
So whose rules are we going to play by?
Yours, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Problem is, I don't know that you know how to do the right thing. I think somebody that lies as much as you do about everything, it seems, and just kind of does what you want to do. Because you've probably been doing this your whole life. And that's why you can't change.
May I have the opportunity to say a couple of things?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, Ms. Hughes.
I appreciate it, Mr. Honor. Your Honor said something very interesting. You've probably always been this way, so that's why it's so hard to change. This behavior is exactly what this case is about. She's charged with R&O. She's charged with malicious destruction of a building. She went to her ex-boyfriend's business and kicked his front door of his business. The police arrived and she immediately started lying to the police that she had just got there, that she hadn't kicked in the front door, that she didn't know what was going on. The police wanted to conduct their investigation, so they asked her to just wait in her car. That's all they asked her to do. And can you just wait in your car? And she took this as an opportunity to defy them rather than just listen to them. She told them, I'm not doing nothing. I don't need to go to my car. They asked her again, please go to your car. She decided to cut off Officer Cunningham, not allowing him to speak. He said, well, you can either wait in your car or you can wait in my car. She said, take me to jail, fuck it. Yes, go ahead, take me to jail. So I instructed her to put her hands behind her back, is what Officer Cunningham's report says. She then began to verbally and physically defy Officer Cunningham to the point that Officer Baldwin, another Ann Arbor officer, had to get involved. When Officer Baldwin approached, the defendant turned to Officer Baldwin and pulled her left hand away and said, don't make me swing on you, to a police officer. So yes, this is what she does. She lies and she wants to play by her own rules.
So by continuously violating your honor's orders, this is just a game at this point. Your honor, I'm asking that you remand her. I'm asking that her bond be revoked and that no bond be set at this time.
Mr. Warren Green.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Fong Fachan, as the court knows, is a mother. She was previously employed at the University of Michigan, stocking shelves. She lost that job when she was remanded to custody, and I know that she is seeking reemployment. Ms. Fong Fachan fully understands that the consequences of her actions.
Does she though? Does she? I mean, I don't know anything about what was necessarily alleged in the case other than the charges, right? And then to hear that recitation of what this case is about and then look at this defendant's behavior, does she really? And I don't know why these kids keep coming up as some shield, because it appears to me everything she's doing has nothing to do with them. She's just running her world. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Your Honor, Ms. Fong Fachan has faithfully attended all of her court hearings. I believe that with added conditions of alcohol monitoring, that the court's concerns about her drink be suppressed. I know it's difficult to address the court's concerns about Ms. Fong Fachan's dishonesty. I believe she's come before you today and been honest about her past conduct and the conduct even after she was released from custody before court today. I'm asking the court to consider continuing her bond with those added conditions, as Fong Fachan will test today and tells me she will test clean.
Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Dr. Young, anything else?
Well, I can speak. I just wanted to say sorry. I've made some mistakes that day when that happened. I didn't necessarily just kick in the door. It was more to it inside. And it just escalated. I was upset. I didn't mean to harm or disrespect Officer Cunningham. I didn't mean it for it to escalate that way. And I hope that I can apologize and make it right. I'm trying to. Since this has happened, it's my life is in shambles. I'm trying to figure it out. Being in jail I get to sit and think about my actions and, actually learn from them. But being in there, I can't get things done. Like I have to figure out getting another job, paying the bills. Not that you care, but I'm trying. I'm trying to make it every court date. I quit smoking weed. If I can be placed on an alcohol tether or have to drop for, urine. I ask, can you still give me another chance?
And you said something very interesting. You said, I don't care, not that I care.
Just now?
Yeah, that's a funny thing. Because actually about everybody that comes before this court, I care. I do. maybe sometimes to my detriment. I do. I don't understand your stupidity. I just don't get it. And you're asking me to give you another chance. You got the first chance when you were first out. Put you in. I bring you back. And you put me in a position where I can't give you another chance. So then you're in there another week. Told me that day, you and Mr. Feaster, you had learned everything and you were going to be able to conduct yourself by the court rules and everything else. You don't at 24 hours, you don't make it 24 hours. And you all think you just think that all of this is a joke. Don't get to just have your way because you want to have your way. Always. There's a bigger bully. But if you think I am going to tolerate this, wrong judge.
I know.
I do not like sending people to jail, but I'm going to do my job. And if you can't cooperate, if you can't just do the simple things that are asked, none of this stuff is hard. None of it. But if you've got to pretend to all these folks that this doesn't bother you and you're just too cool for any of this, and you're just going to make it, well, okay, so be it. You can sit up there and be everybody's hero. So, Mr. Warren Green, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to adjourn her preliminary examination. I'm adjourning her preliminary examination to April 23rd, 2024 at 9. That is before me. It will give you the opportunity to certainly motion before this court this defendant's release. But for today, she's going. Defendant's bond is hereby revoked pending a motion hearing. If defendant is released from jail, she will go on an alcohol scram test. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.